Hey guys, this is Martin from howtomakemobilegames.com on Friday the 13th, I think today. Let me just allow this thing to pop up. 2015 in February, I think it's Friday the 13th now. Actually, it might have ticked over onto the 14th here. Yeah, so Saturday the 14th here in China, we've just ticked over. That's how busy I've been recently. The days are just a blur now. I don't know what day it is really. I usually know the number, like 13, 14, 15, but I don't know what day it is, really. Recently it's been ultra busy, and I've not had much time to do anything else. I seem to just sort of be piling up a list of to-dos, but I was taking a quick break now and just going over the forum a little bit, so I thought I'd do an answers to posts video. I'd done one of these before a couple of years ago, and you guys seemed to like it because it was a nice personal way to respond to some questions or comments on the channel or on the forum. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go and look at some of the posts on the forum recently and just answer them. I do read all of these guys, I don't reply to all of them though, so my apologies if I'm not answering one of them in this video here, but I do read all of your comments because they come through on email, and I go through all of them, and on the YouTube channel as well. I do read all of them, so thank you for continuing. So I really not planned this out well, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna really quickly brush through the other comments and sort of answer on the fly. So I'm just going to sort of mumble through. And so Grumpy said, "Hey Grumpy, spoke to you a few times. So I found that some of the games actually make less ad revenue per impression than worse games because the player doesn't want to leave the game. So say you're showing ads on an engaging, fun game, the player doesn't want to click the ads because they want to keep playing the game. On a good game, ads are annoying. On a bad game, the player actually wants to be likely to click on it." Yeah, so I read this point, Grumpy. I totally agree with you as well, really. And I was going to answer to this post a few days ago, but just didn't get around to getting on the forum. But yeah, I do agree with you completely. We've got a couple of games now, some older ones, one of them that's not very good in my opinion, called, I think it's Food Clicker or Tap It. I didn't even remember the name of the game. That's how how forgetful it was. But that game, every now and then, when we get our Chart Boost email summary, daily summary of our top games, sometimes that game makes like $6 or $7 a day, even with fairly low downloads. And I think the reason is because, well, one, it's a tap game where you got to tap as fast as possible, like Cookie Clicker. But the other reason is because I think that the game isn't very good, and therefore people want to go and find another game. So I do agree with you, yeah, totally. I think games that are more engaging, that are more fun, players are less likely to click on ads because they're not interested in doing that. So it's a bit of a difficult situation, really, isn't it? I mean, I think always go for quality, of course, but if it's kind of weird that developers might be making more money if they're making games that are not as good, but they're just trying to get the click for the ad. And I totally understand that, and we still need to do that as well, because as I've always said, getting players to make an in-app purchase in mobile games these days is so hard, is ridiculously hard. So we rely on ad revenue. So let me just keep on going. So oddly, it could be that you're making less money because you're making better games. Yes, I do agree with that point, yeah. Recently, we've been making a steady, fairly good revenue on our game, You Escape Sometimes Too, on Amazon. The downloads on there are okay. They're about 100 a day, but I think roughly on Chart Boost it makes, I don't know, between $6, $7, $8, $9 a day. So $6 to $9 a day, roughly. Then also some money on the Amazon ads as well. So maybe $10 a day, plus some in-app purchases every week, but not a lot. The in-app purchases we need to improve somehow. And also include rewarded video ads from Chart Boost as well. So for those of you who don't know, rewarded video ads are where the player is incentivized to watch a video, and if they watch this video for 15 seconds or whatever, then they get some free currency or some free item in your game. The advertiser gets a pair of eyes on their game. You make some revenue from the advertiser through Chart Boost, and the player gets their free currency in the game. So it's a really good solution, and it's a good solution from what I can see, but we've got to test it. So we're going to be doing that real soon in Playcade and You Escape Sometimes Too. I'm really of the opinion now that we're just showing an ad in the game. Start over his outdated model. It's annoying, it cannibalizes your own user base and feels unsophisticated. Adverts in purchase cross promotion, the player needs to opt into these, or at the very least, they need to be integrated in the game to care attention. I think Crossroad is a great example of a monetized game. As a player, you don't feel like any monetization options are being rammed in your face, but there's adverts in purchases, cross promotion there. Yeah, so Crossy Roads is a good example, and we downloaded it recently with my wife, and we've been playing that. The gameplay is very simple, and it's not large. The actual game itself, there's no. I think I briefly played it, but there's only one level, I think. And but the cool thing is the outside game stuff, like the meta game, is very well done. I think, like unlocking the characters, getting that little sort of prize thing, the little. I don't know what they're called, but little prizes in a box, and you pull the handle, and then it gives you like a new pet or a new set of coins or something like this. So that's a really good model, like having that unlock system and new content coming along. Not to mention it's well polished, and the sounds in the game are great. The graphics are amazing as well. But the problem is, you do, if you're showing an ad in the beginning, at the end of the game, or between each level, you might be cannibalizing your own players. That's true. I think it depends on the quality of the game and what you want to achieve with the game. For example, some of our games that we might release that are very small, the goal is really just to make some ad revenue with the game and cross-promote the other games, because I don't see them as being like long-term games. So we've got 3 main long-term games right now, which is You Escape Sometimes 2, Placade, and Sniper XXX. So those are the games that we're building up over a long period, and that we're expecting the players to put a lot more time and effort into. And we're going to continue to put in time and effort on our side as well and build the games out. But for the smaller games that we're doing in around 1 week or a few days perhaps, really the goal is only to make ad revenue and to cross-promote the bigger games in those small games. Because I honestly, I don't expect the players to stick around and do a lot in those games. I think to make the most of these models work, the game needs to be good and have depth. Players aren't going to watch video to gain coins if they feel there's any value in the game. No one's going to buy a coin double if they can't see themselves playing the game for hours. Yeah, exactly. So even rewarded video ads won't do very well in a game that isn't very engaging. So that's why I'm not really bothering so much with in-app purchases in our smaller games right now. Even though we should start to do that, because with in-app purchases, like a remove ads button, it's like, it's very few people are going to use that. But every now and then, I mean, we get some players buying the remove ads item on iPhone, and the amount of time and effort it takes to put that button in the game is not very large on Amazon, Google, and iTunes. So we might as well put them in, just throw in the remove ads button, and then the amount of time that it took to put that button in there, it's going to pay itself back within the next few months, even though the in-app purchases are going to be very low. Ramble over, I haven't seen much change in January. Oh, okay. On my most popular game, revenue is about 10% of the total revenue, but it's only remove ads in-app purchase. I can easily see how much extensive range of in-app purchase could boost that a lot. Not use reward video. Okay, the points that I remember what you were making there. I think I said our February chart boost revenue was the lowest point ever. In fact, yesterday, guys, was the lowest ever, which kind of like had me. It always has me a little bit worried when that happens. I think on chart boost we only made $54 in one day. We're used to in the week we're used to the ranges of $80 to $100, and then on the weekend sort of maybe $100 to $120. But to drop down to $53 is it doesn't have me worried, but it's because it's February and the revenue always goes up and down. Even though the installs were higher, the installs from I think the day before yesterday we made $62 on Chart Boost, and yesterday the installs were higher, but we made less money. So it really depends on the time of month. It really depends on the ads that the big publishers are showing. Maybe they're not showing a lot of casual ads. Maybe all the slots games are taking up the ads. So so long as it's not a consistent low thing, then it should change. But definitely we need to improve our downloads anyway. And I've been doing a lot of that today, like screenshots, updating a bunch of screenshots for Placade. So we need to hire an artist eventually as well. It's taken me all day to do some screenshots. So anyway, moving on. So Sam says, we have seen a 30% drop in AdMob revenues due to a drop in eCPM from January till now. Downloads and impressions are actually up about 30%. Oh, so that's interesting. So Sam, yeah, you said you've seen a 30% drop in AdMob from January till now, even though your downloads and impressions are up. I'm curious, was that the start of January or the end of January? So I'm wondering if that's the last week that you're talking about, or the last 2 weeks, because we're on February the 14th now. So please let me know, but that's interesting. I do wonder if the increase in impression have caused this. We're serving around 2 million impressions a month, which seems to have triggered a drop. I agree with Grumpy. Yeah, so you said that the increase in impressions I don't think would have dropped your revenue. I don't think that would have happened. I think in most cases, the ad networks, if you're serving a lot of ads, or if your games are asking for a lot of ads, and they're asking for a lot of impressions, then I think ad networks actually increase the ad eCPM that's served to your games because they want to pump out the highest paying eCPM ads quicker. They won't pump out the lower ones. So if your impressions increased, you might see a drop in eCPM, maybe, possibly because not as many people are clicking on the ads anymore, because you're serving more. But that doesn't mean that the revenue will go down, in my opinion. The revenue would actually go up in that case if you're serving more impressions, even if this eCPM goes down. So I agree with Grumpy saying above that we need to think more about how to incorporate the ads, and think the Crossy Road is a great example of this. Crossy Road has made well over $1 million in ad revenue off, I am guessing, about 30 to 35 million installs. So that's interesting about Crossy Road. I'm actually curious with Crossy Road and with the big games if they are making a high ARPU or not, because it's a good game. I agree. It's well polished. It's got a lot of content, metagame content in there. The game itself is not very big. The lifetime of the player, I don't know how long they're going to stay in that game. But is Crossy Roads only very successful because it reached the top spot? So what I mean is, if this game, for example, Crossy Road, just had like a couple thousand downloads every day across all of the app stores, like if it was a small indie developer, would it still be successful or not? Maybe the ARPU is very low for that type of game. I don't know. I'm actually curious about that, because I met a guy once in China Joy, a game event here in China, and he was talking about a ninja game. It looked great. It looked really, really well-polished game, and I could see the quality in it. And he said, "Oh, this game is amazing. It made over 1 million downloads." And I was like, "Wow!" But then I stopped and I thought, and I went, "Wait, how much did they pay to get that 1 million downloads? Did they pay 2 million to get that 1 million downloads? And therefore, it's lost money." You know, so it really depends on the ARPU. Crossy Roads is surely making, you know, a return on investment now because it's hit the top spot, and it is a good quality game. But I'm sure they've paid a lot of money to reach that position. I'm pretty sure of that. I think it was published in overseas by Yodo One, which is a Chinese company, I think, and they publish They publish foreign games in China. They help them to publish them in China. And I think overseas in US, UK, it was published by something Whale. I can't remember the name now. But I'm wondering how much those guys paid. But the developer's pretty smart. They've done like multiple publishers to publish the game, so it's a really smart move. But I'm very curious to see what the ARPU is. I'm also interested in video reward ads and looking at the best ways to incorporate these. Yeah, so video reward ads, we're going to do that real soon. Hopefully within the next couple of days we'll do that in one of our games and figure out the best way to use them. I think for our game You Escape Sometimes 2 and Playcade, we do have players purchasing the coins in there for real money. So I think players will like that. And what we're going to be doing is probably put a button on the bottom left, which is in the main world select screen and the main level select screen, and it's always going to be there, a little TV icon. It's going to, it should attract attention for the user to click on it, and then a pop-up will appear saying, "Hey, watch an ad for, a short ad, and then earn X amount of coins." So once we do it, though, guys, I'll let you know how it goes. So Epic says, "Hey Martin, yeah, it seems that the eCPM for static interstitials in Chart Boost have gone down a bit." Okay, that's interesting. As for video ads, the eCPM is still very high for me, around $10, which is great. I really recommend you to try out Chartboost video interstitials. Okay, they were the best. They were the best paying and fastest to set up. Okay, if you have the latest Chartboost SDK in your games, I believe you can add video ads straight from the dashboard on Chartboost website, which is great if you don't want to update a ton of games. Video ads are on a pay-per-complete view basis for me are a lot more stable as opposed to interstitials, which are pay-per-install basis. For me, which are a lot more stable as opposed to interstitials. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so the video ads, yeah, so that's a separate thing, and that's good information, Epic. Thanks for sharing. So for those of you guys who don't know, Chartboost also allows you to show video ads now, and those are short, sort of 10, 15-second ads that appear, and they're not rewarded video ads either. They can just be like they're just like videos to promote another game, and I think what will happen is you get paid if the user completes a view. And it's as Epic said there, it says like the eCPM is really high for them, which is good. And I've seen some really high quality, some very high quality video ads. So we're gonna have to check that out for sure. And I do think, yeah, as you mentioned, Epic, if you go through the Chartboost, how can I say it, the Chartboost website, you don't need to integrate anything in the game like an SDK update. I think you can just make a new campaign. Say that you want to show videos, make it high priority, I think, and then connect that campaign to the app. And I think from that point, you'll start to see the game will start to show video ads. So actually, I'm going to check that out tonight, Epic. That's a really good point. We might be dropping our Chartboost revenue, or our Chartboost revenue might be dropping because we're not focusing on video ads. Now, as I've discussed with some of you guys, I don't want to do video ads in like our 3 important games right now. Because I don't want to damage the user experience. It'll be very annoying for some of our games if the user sees like a 15-second video ad all the time. But some games, the smaller ones which we've had out, for a long time, which might have only taken a short space of time to make, yes, I'm interested in putting video ads in them. So I think definitely that's a good recommendation, Epic. I'm going to give it a test tonight and see how it goes, because I'm very curious to see the eCPM. Because like you said, if an image plays, then we don't make any money if the static interstitial just shows. But if the video plays all the way through, we still make some money on that. So I'm curious if anyone can explain that. Is it for Chartboost? Do we make money if the video is fully viewed and then you make some money? Yes or no? Or do you make money if the video is fully viewed and the player installs? I'm assuming you can make both. So, for example, if the video is viewed, you make a few cents. If the game is installed after the video, then you make an extra 50 cents or something like that. I think that's the way it would work. So, but I need to check. But if anyone knows, please let me know. So, as for in-app purchase, I just wanted to point out and say something strictly. And in my honest opinion, I would never buy an in-app purchase for a game unless it was really polished and from a AAA publisher. At most, on the rare, I do buy one from an indie game. It's normally it's just to remove ads for 99. I would only use my money on games that are really polished and have a premium feel to them, such as you mentioned, Candy Crush and other Smug Blues games. Yeah, so like I totally agree, Epic, and that sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of shows my point of what I was saying before, is that people now, players of mobile games, will not pay big money or will not pay any money for games now because users are used to so much free, high-quality stuff that they don't have to pay anything. So it's very hard for users to make any in-app purchases. Very hard for developers to make any in-app purchase revenue. So yeah, it's got to be very, very polished, and it's got to have something awesome in it. I'm the same. I pay very little for games as well. I download free ones. I don't think I've paid any in-app purchases recently for anything. I paid for a couple of apps, but that's about it. So, but anyway, let me go back. So, I don't know how long this video has lasted, guys. If it's too long, I want to. I might just do one more, guys. I was expecting to do a lot more on this video. Honestly, I was going to go down this whole list here, but I know when I talk in these videos, I do tend to ramble on. and so yeah, I'm sorry. I might only be able to answer like maybe a couple more, but I'll do more. If you guys like this video, please let me know, and I'll do more for sure. So okay, so this was the Google Play infringement process. Pain in the arse, aren't they? Let me just find out where I'm up to. Okay, so Neil B, cool man, how are you doing? Good to see you on it. So you sound quite conciliatory in the way you discussed the issue you had with slaves. I had to look up that word conciliatory. I have no conciliatory. I didn't know what it meant. I had to look it up on Google, and then even on Google, I wasn't sure. I think it means blasé. Like I didn't really seem very upset about it. So I guess I'm not too upset about it, is because I've had it. It's happened before, and I'm not too surprised at this point. The other reason is because Slays really wasn't getting any big downloads and really wasn't making any good money, so that needs to change. But that's the reason why I wasn't too upset. So my opinion is a bit different. For those of you who don't know on the video, by the way, real quickly, this is because recently Google Play claimed that we had an IP infringement on our game Slays, which is the one that you see in the background on the website, and they just took it down. Then they said, if you have proof documentation that you own the rights to publish this game, then please send it to us. I sent it to them in English, the documentation. It's from a Chinese developer. I say, hey, we have the rights. And I said, if there's something, please let me know which game this game infringes. We'll change it and we'll update it, and we're sorry. There's a million games on Google Play. We can't track them all, blah, blah, blah. And it was a robot response, and they just said, oh, hey, please see the initial email for the reason. And that was an automated response. And they said, no, we've considered your request and it's not allowed. Please check the email for the reason. And the original email didn't give a reason. It just said IP rights infringement. It didn't tell us what game. I don't know what game it infringes. So I had to speak with the developer, and we're still not sure. So anyway, so my opinion is a bit different. Google were more than happy to turn a blind eye to IP infringement when Android was competing against iOS. Now that Android is dominant, Google are passing all the risk and cost of compliance onto people that got them where they are today. Yeah, I agree with you. Google makes plenty of money from Google Play and can easily afford to hire staff to deal with this issue. They simply have no reason to treat developers with respect. If a developer is important enough to matter, I'm sure the legal department can get any number of infringement notices cancelled with a simple call to Google. Yeah, I agree, and I read that before as well, Neil. You said last week. Google does make a ton of money on developers, not only from AdMob. That's one of their ways to make money, in-app purchases, but also the $25 a year that each developer pays to register for the Google Play Developer Program. I believe it's $25 a year. I could be wrong. But also, the other point is that the developers own Android devices. So we go out and we buy Android devices for Android development. So we pay a lot towards this development process. We also promote our games on Google Play as well. So we push our friends and we promote our games, on the web, and say, hey, get it on Google Play. So we're sort of pushing the Google Play App Store as well. So we're doing a huge amount. And I agree, man. I think Google, why can't they just have a checking process in place? Or, the amount of people, this is what I was thinking yesterday. Okay, you've got people who work at Google, and what they do is they check games for compliance if there's too many keyword stuff in, or if there's an IP infringement, or if the game is malicious in some way. So they go through and check it. Surely some of that could be diverted towards doing pre-launch checks, like I said in the video before. It would be great if they could do that, because I would opt in. And as I said in the video before, I would pay more money for a pre-launch check from Google. They said, hey, okay, you can opt in for this. You can say, okay, before my game goes live, I would like a Google employee to check the game, the description, the icons, blah, 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 and let me know if there's any problems before it goes live. And then there's less worry later, and it's you're being more of a safe developer, whatever you want to call it. Totally, Google could do that. It's just, I agree with your point, man. They do turn a blind eye. Google, in my opinion, Apple, Amazon, no, I'm going to take that away. For Amazon, I do like those guys. They do talk to us, and I think they have a good BD team that keeps in touch with their developers as well as their advertisers as well, big and small. I get emails from Amazon like every month, personal emails as well. So this doesn't apply to Amazon. I really like those guys. But Google Play, yeah, it's just a robot email. And I forgot, I've lost the point that I was going to go on to there. I'm sorry. What was I talking about? Oh, this is how tired I am. Sorry, I've lost it. But anyway, I was just going to say, yeah, Google can, they can divert attention to doing that. Oh no, this is the point. Sorry, Google Play. If Google Play probably only focuses on those developers that are bringing in the most money for Google Play. So Clash of Clans, Candy Crush Saga, the big online games, those ones with big in-app purchases that go directly to Google Play, those are the ones that they are taking care of, because games that have ads with only chart boosting or app loving don't give Google any money. So that's probably what they're thinking. Google's probably saying, right, well, where should we take care of these small developers here? I would much rather push the bigger games to the users, because those games, they're getting overall, they're probably getting a better user experience in a lot of cases. But they're also paying money for in-app purchases, which goes directly into Google's pocket as well. So that's why they're taking care of the big ones, but don't care about the little ones. It makes sense from a business standpoint, but I don't like it. So Sam says, this is truly one of the things that sucks with Gplay. I agree. I have had 2 IP claims on Google Play. First, we were allowed to make the changes to the app and have it reinstated. Then the second, they just removed the app totally. Wow. That sucks totally, man. I like you find it extremely frustrating that there is a clear path always to find out what was infringing and allow you to fix it. If you had AdMob in this app, you should probably achieve the ads, archive the ads in your account. After we have one of our apps removed, a few weeks later we got one from AdMob that the app was violating the terms of service and that they were striking it off our account and possibly putting a red mark on our account. Yeah, I had the same thing. I received notices from AdMob sometimes. If a game was removed from Google Play, then a few weeks later AdMob will send us a message to say, your app has been removed because it's been removed from Google Play. So that means that don't use AdMob, guys, if you're planning to launch your game outside of Google Play. For example, on Amazon or Slide.me or Mob and Go or T-Store or wherever outside of the big ones in the West. Because if your game is not on Google Play or gets cancelled on Google Play, then that means it gets cancelled on all the networks. It means that your games will not show AdMob ads in any of that game if it's on all of the different other stores. So that's a good point. I would totally put in some different banners in that case. Maybe StartApp. We use StartApp.com ads, and they're pretty good. And we need to do that more as well. The smaller independent ad networks, I find that we have a better one-to-one communication with them. Again, Google is owned by AdMob. AdMob is owned by Google, and so communication is it's kind of pretty low. And I've received emails before that the game's just been cancelled from AdMob because it isn't on Google Play anymore. Therefore, you can't use it. Blah blah blah. And so that's why I'm moving to other ad networks and focusing more on diversifying. So. If you have an AdMob account manager, they can help you sometimes with these things. Okay, cool. Yes, I have spoken once or twice to an AdMob account manager, I think, so they might be able to help us. So that's good. So Sam, my first Google Play account was suspended around 6 months ago. I did achieved all the same campaigns, archived, I think, all the same campaigns, and I'm still getting those warnings. Yeah, this is the same warning as well. The email you alert is an application not currently complies. Blah blah blah. Disable gaming stream, yeah, action required. Yeah, so same thing, Roman. Yeah, I got the same email from Google Play. I'm not using AdMob anymore. It's too risky. Yeah, for banners, I prefer using Amazon ads. Full screen ads use Chart Boost. Yeah, we use Amazon ads and we use Chart Boost as well, Roman. Again, AdMob and Google Play. I know. I'm sure there's not any people at Google Play that are thinking, "Oh my God, these little developers. I don't care about them." Ha ha ha. But I'm sure that they're not focusing on us as much as the big publishers and the big games, because it doesn't make business sense for them, I don't think. I'm sure there's arguments to that. I'm sure there's Martin, hey, no, they would consider smaller developers because blah, 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 blah. But I think overall, if you get a game like Clash of Clans, which is making a $5 ARPU or $6 ARPU, and 30% of that is going into Google Play's pocket or Apple's pocket or whatever, then they're definitely going to be trying to push that game onto their users more. So that's probably why they don't really care so much about little developers anymore. Not to sound sad and wimpy, but that's just business, I think, and it's just we've got to find ways around it and find ways to be the best, and not just on one store but on many stores. So Google will pay in the future. Google will pay in the future because he was joking around with developers. More and more developers every day are publishing their games just on iOS, and Amazon. Google Play has become a spam market. Yeah, I actually find now that our Google Play downloads are really low, very, very low. We're talking for some games like 5 to 10 downloads a day, guys, and that's for Playcade and U-Escape sometimes too. Playcade has quite a lot of content in it now. U-Escape sometimes too also has quite a lot of content in it, and I personally think the screenshots and icon are pretty good. It needs to improve. The description and keywords obviously need to improve, but 5 to 10 downloads a day is ridiculously low. And yeah, it is a spam market. I agree. You can set up an account in 5 seconds, and you can just spam all the way with like live wallpaper. Like live wallpaper apps, or what you can do is you can just say, Clash of Clans 2 is coming out, and you can release a Clash of Clans 2 fan app that just shows some screenshots or something, and it can be spammed very, very easily. That's why I'm saying that Google should have some check in place to stop those kind of things. It'd make a cleaner market, and it'd actually make it better for developers who are actually putting time and effort into their games. So yeah, definitely, I think iOS and Amazon is actually safer because we still get emails from Apple. If there's any problems, we get a personalized email saying, hey, this is what happened, here's their email, and can you solve it? And I've replied back, and then there's an employee that's replied back and said, oh, okay, case is, this case is closed now, thank you guys for catching up with us. So, big thumbs up to Apple and Amazon. I hope you guys get bigger and bigger. Grumpy, I've always been really impressed with Chartboost customer service. So nice to talk with a real person. Grumpy, I totally agree, man. I actually sent an email to Chartboost middle of last year, and I said, hey, please say a great big thanks to the team, because one of the reasons that we stick with Chartboost a lot is not only because of revenue, of course, but also just because of their communication, their customer service. Their one-to-one communication is really good. We don't get that from AdMob and Google Play, but that's an app store, not an ad network. I just sent them my appreciation, and they were like, "Oh, cool, thank you so much, blah blah blah." And it was great just to chat with someone and on their side, and they're great with their developers. They really are. So again, if anyone from Chartboost is listening, a big thumbs up, guys. You're doing awesome. Thank you for all of the good communication. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave the video there because I think it's probably been really long now. I don't know if it's going to render too well, but thank you for posting on the forum, guys. I'm so sorry that I've not been able to follow up very much this past couple of weeks, really. If I could just sit on the forum all day and then make money that way, I would, honestly, because I really enjoy it. Again, thanks for the support, guys. If anyone's on the YouTube channel, you can come and talk to me on howtomakemobilegames.com, and I'll do more of these videos. If this was useful, if me talking and replying to your comments this way was pretty interesting, then please let me know. And I'll try to do more of these because I think it's better than typing sometimes, actually having a conversation. So aside from that, please hit the like button, guys, down there somewhere. Please like it. Please subscribe as well on the YouTube channel. That always supports. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend, everyone, wherever you are. It might be still Friday the 13th, so you might watch the movie Friday the 13th tonight, so it's perfect time. Anyway, have a great one, guys. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.